Whole milk is making a comeback in school cafeterias, and Wood County Schools is working to get it on the menu for students. Our Chase Campbell has the details.
The United States Department of Agriculture approved whole and 2% milk for the federal school meals program earlier this year. Wood County Schools Child Nutrition Director Holly Best says the district hopes to be able to offer whole milk to students starting in the fall. Best says the district already closed its dairy bids for the next school year before the ruling changed, so she's now going back to vendor United Dairy out of Charleston to negotiate pricing and availability. Once they're able to offer whole milk, Best says she's eager to see how students will respond.
It's the options for the students. We would also like to see their acceptance. You know, to say whole milk is back in schools, will student accept whole milk over a skim or a low-fat milk?
Best says there are numerous factors to consider when it comes to adding additional types of milk, including federal regulations that require meals to adhere to nutritional guidelines.
Going from a 1% milk to a whole milk is 50 extra calories in one carton. So if a student took 2 in a day, that's 100 extra calories. So I have to also look at menus to make sure they meet all the federal regulations.
There's also the budget to consider. Best says she's unsure at this point how adding whole milk will affect how much the district spends on meals, but says that even the difference of a few cents per carton could have a big impact because the district provides over 1 million meals every year. Ultimately, Best says the goal is to provide the best experience for the students.
We just have to make sure that everything fits together for the student, because ultimately our goal is to ensure that the student drinks the milk, because if they don't drink the milk, then they're not getting the nutrition they need.
Wood County Schools currently offers all meals free to students through the federal community eligibility provision. In Parkersburg, Chase Campbell, WTAP News.